everybody. So we're talking about integrity, change your perspective, change your awareness, change your life. Dr. Michelina here, that felon doctor, hashtag that felon doctor, coming to you with a good word, I hope, for you to get into new life and not stay in your old life. Now, again, if you don't want new life, this isn't for you. If you're cool, running around, doing the things that you're doing, hop off the channel, this isn't for you. But if you're somebody who's like, looking around and you're like, this is not the thing, and I know there's something else here and I don't know what that is, here is the place for you to be. So we're talking about integrity this week, and with integrity, right, there's something that's really hard. Showing up in integrity means that you know at your core, you want to be a help to people. Now, if you're not there yet, then that means you're probably still functioning out of like a pretty human level awareness, your very base level awareness, right? You're in the place of like, they hurt me, I want to hurt them. Or you've been hurt a lot and you haven't even dealt with it. Or there's some shit going on in you, right? And that's true of a lot of us, most of the time. I will say that this came for me in a big way. I'm sitting in a jail cell, right? And I'm looking at this felony charge. And the felony charge is intent to harm. And I'm sitting there in a cell by myself in private custody. Okay, guys, criminal of criminals, private custody in this jail cell in solitary confinement for 72 hours. And I'm looking at this. You don't get a lot in jail, right? You don't get a lot. You get a bin full of shit. And in the bin, I had like a blanket, no, I don't even want to talk about it right now, but I also got my charge, and the charge was intent to harm. And I'm sitting there like, was my intent to harm? And I'm having a real complex here, guys, because I'm like, yo, I've never intended to harm anything in my life. And then I'm thinking back in this cell, right? Because all you're doing is thinking in your cell. And I'm like, people have harmed me, and I've worked hard to never harm them. And that is directly credited to my mother, who was like, rise above it. You know, she's been telling me to rise above it since like I was 5. You know, people have always kind of outcasted me. I walk into a space and piss people off. Like, I don't even know how. I just do. I just, you know, you feel one way or another about me. Like, no one's just like, oh, hey, there's Michelina. It's like, fuck this bitch, or, oh, I like her. That's it. Like, and I got that at a young age. And so my mom had always been telling me, like, rise above it, rise above it, rise above it, rise above it. And so my natural default became, oh, they hurt me, I'm going to rise above it. Oh, I'm hurt right now, I'm going to rise above it. And so, like, now that doesn't mean that I didn't unintentionally, subconsciously internalize that hurt, never deal with it, never look at it, and never do anything with it, and then accidentally function out of it. That happened. Like, I'm sure there are people in my past that I unintentionally hurt, not meaning to, just because I was being selfish. I was being a little monster, you know? But what this paper was accusing me of was villainy, intent to harm. And I was like, I've never intended to harm anything. So I know this isn't true. Even knowing that didn't mean my self-concept wasn't extraordinarily shaken. Because when you're accused of being the villain, you want to be the villain. Or at least I do. And I did. Like, when you accuse someone enough of being the thing, it's like, well, fuck it. Let me be the thing then. Fuck this, right? And don't think for 1 second that I didn't go through that. Because I did. It was a very hard and conscious effort to not fall off. And to be like, okay, all right, I know what they're accusing me of, but I'm not that. I'm not that thing. You know, like, I know myself. I'm not that thing. I've never been a pedophile. I've never wanted to hurt anybody. Like, I'm not attracted to children. I don't fucking like children. Like, I know myself. I know this is true about me. Doesn't matter what this fucking says. Doesn't matter what Barstool Sports says. Doesn't matter what all these fucking internet sources say. Like, I know myself. But man, when you're being accused, you're like, well, if everybody thinks this about me, then fuck it. Why don't I just be it? And so there was a real Real urge. I'm not going to lie to you. If everybody thinks I'm harmful, let me be fucking harmful. Let me be fucking harmful, right? And I think a lot of us do that. And it's not in integrity, right? You've heard it before. I'm sure you've heard it again. Hurting people hurt people. And Lord, have I been hurt? I'm sure you have been too. Being hurt is a natural part of life. Like, you're not getting away from it. You know, we're human. We get hurt. We skin a knee. We get a broken heart. We get a broken bone. Like, in this reality, life can be hurtful. Like, it can be, you know? And so if you're really showing up in integrity to yourself, your truest self, the self that you might not have any acquaintance with in here, you're not harmful. You're not a harmful person, right? Especially if you're here on this channel, you probably want to be a helpful person. You want to be a better person. You want to be a more free person. You want to be someone that can like show up differently. Like, you want growth. You want transformation. You want new fucking life. That's what we're doing here. New life. You don't want to stay in the old life, right? So showing up in integrity, what's so important about that is that at your core, you have to know you are love and light and truth. You are all these good things. At your very core essence, you are all these things. That doesn't mean they're showing up. That doesn't mean you're doing it. It doesn't mean you're acting in alignment. It doesn't mean you've never fucked up. It doesn't mean you're not completely fucked, you know. Don't forget the course, www.completelyfect.vhx.tv will help you kind of more formulaically. But it does mean if you want to show up in integrity, you have to know about yourself that at the end of the day, like, in there somewhere is someone who wants to help. Or if there is someone in there that wants to harm, no, that's not an integrity. It's not an integrity. It means that you are so hurt, you want other people to hurt like you do. That's what that means. And that's fine. Understand that about yourself. If you get those kind of feelings like, fuck this, I want to go out guns blazing, right? I know a lot of people who are like, I can't tell you how many people have like told me shit about themselves, right? If you're one of those, it's like, oh, fuck this, I want to like take a whole village out, right? That means that you are so hurt, you're completely disconnected from yourself. It means you've been objectified. It means you've been neglected. It means you've been abused. It means you've been hurt on levels you can't even fucking process, actually. Right? And so at the end of the day, the integrity of the truest self is love, light, truth. All of these things that are very much inside of you. And if you aren't showing up that way, just get aware. Just get aware of why aren't you? Did you not know that about yourself? That's true of everybody. That's true of everybody. Every spirit body that is in the flesh body, every spirit body has that. It just is. You are created from a source that is all those things. Therefore, you can't not be those things, right? I'm going to Genesis here. You're created in the image of. If you're created in the image of God, you've got the same facets and qualities of God. This is not hard to understand. You know, an oak tree produces acorns. The creator that is all love, light, and truth created things that are all love, light, and truth. Doesn't mean that we don't have free will. Doesn't mean we don't do other things. But at the core of our essence, we have that in us. And so, at the end of the day, if you want to really show up in integrity, you have to know who you are. And at your core essence, who you are is pure goodness. It's pure goodness. What you do with that knowledge and what you do from there is up to you. But if you're on this channel and you want new life, hang out, check out the course, Completely Fact, and we will just keep on bringing the good word, guys. So thanks for joining me here. Like, subscribe, tell your friends.